Hey everyone, welcome into another edition of Say Hey Plays. My name is Jose Bouquett. Alongside me is my guy Big Ragu. Big Ragu, how are you doing over there?
Hey everyone, welcome into another
What's
edition
happening,
of
guys?
Say
Doing
Hey
good, doing
Plays.
good.
My name is Jose.
Hold on, we got a little echo coming from you. There we go.
Alongside me is my guy Big
I
Ragu. Big
think
Ragu, how you
you
doing
got
over
a
there?
YouTube tab open over there.
I'm doing good, brother. Sorry about the echo. It's my bad.
No,
I'm
no
doing
worries.
well. I'm doing well. Ready for this card. I see you had a fantastic couple of days back to back. Good to see that. I've been laying a little bit low. Been helping my daughter get moved up from South Florida up this way. So I was dealing with that for a few days, and now I'm ready to hop on some baseball with you guys today, and let's see what we do with this card. Get some winners.
Beautiful. I'm glad that everything going smoothly with that. I just looked at what you're wearing and I just realized why you're wearing it. So I'm glad that you came dressed appropriately today. And it's going to be a good show. I cannot wait for the show. And you're right. I did have a good day yesterday. 4-1 day, not bad at all. Back up to 15 units after kind of a stinker day like 2 days ago or so. But that's kind of how it seems like these like trends are going, good day, good day, good day, some even days in there, and then I have one like tragic day, and then it's bouncing back from there. But overall, it's been a good year, like we said. 269 and 256, up 15.34 units, still chugging along, still rolling. And Ragu, we're almost there, Ragu. Every day, I get more and more excited every day because we're on to Say Hey 94. Say Hey 94 officially underway. It's going to be a fun show today, Ragu. A full card, obviously. You ready to start breaking this down?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's rock and roll. Let's get it done.
All right, beautiful. We'll start with this Tigers White Sox spot. Boy, do the White Sox stink. It's been truly tragic to watch them play the last couple of days. I don't know. I think they probably end up playing tomorrow as well. But 3 games in a row for the Tigers here potentially, that would be pretty crazy to see. Johnny Cueto versus Garrett Hill. Garrett Hill, who is making a second major league start today, and I tend to want to fade guys like that. Truthfully, his first major league start this year was against the Cleveland Guardians. 6 innings, 2 hits, 1 earned run, 3 Ks, 1 walk there, a home run given up. His AAA starts as well were all really good. Like his last 4, I believe it were, at least the last 3, I should say. His 4 last starts were great. So his last 3 AAA starts were 6 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 5 innings, no earned runs, 3 innings, no earned runs. So he's kind of feeling himself recently, the Garrett Hill guy. He's pitched well in the majors, but again, typically this is a spot where I'd want to fade him here. Second start in majors, maybe feeling a little bit too good, gets a little bit of reality check. But like I said, the White Sox, as Mr. MDR is saying here, the White Sox suck. And I can't bet him. I can't back him under any circumstance right now, especially at a minus 170. Maybe you think a team total over, but I just ultimately did not want to move on this game at all.
Yeah, I kind of got the same vibe, with this kid Hill. But I mean, fuck Tony La Russa, number one. Okay, we'll start right there.
Yep.
But at the same time, and he's Italian too. I hate to say that, but oh well, it is what it is. But yeah, he's an old man in the rocking chair, just getting ready to push out. They're going to roll him down the ramp one day, and he's going to be gone. That's going to happen pretty soon, I think. Because this team, don't forget, this team early on was picked to be at the top of the hill in that division, and they've let a lot of. If you've been back in the Sox, you've been burning some cash, that's for sure. But
absolutely.
But Cueto got a late start this year, and he hasn't done a whole lot, especially at home. He's like they've lost. He's like 0-3 at home. He's 2-1 technically in his last 5 starts, but he's had his worst efforts at home. And the Tigers, they've won 6 in a row, man. 6 in a row.
Really? They've won 6 in a row? I had no idea.
6 in a row, yeah.
Wow.
They're in fuego right now, and I was kind of hoping, with this look here, we'd kind of try to get Cueto some kind of backing, but the way the Sox are playing and Cueto at home, just I'm trying to find a spot to maybe back Cueto in some form or fashion, but I just can't do it. So This is going to be a total pass for me today on this spot.
Yeah, 6 in a row, 8-2 in their last 10. Wow. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you guys. I guess I don't have the balls to take it, but it's absolutely Tigers or pass for
Yeah,
me.
I mean, you would. I was looking maybe for a K prop, maybe for our guy Cueto, but and then the only question mark is a Kid Hill. More or less, his second start, like you said. Normally that'd be a good fade spot, but the way and the Tigers are hot, so maybe maybe he's feeling full of himself a little bit, and then he's saying, no, I'm going up against a league foe here, or first out against these guys, and who knows? They haven't seen him, so who knows what can happen? Maybe the Tigers' bats stay hot, and then they get to Cueto early. But Cueto, he's probably going to get 6 or 7, I would guess here. I think that's one thing about Cueto. He does go. He once in a while he'll get a little blip. He'll throw like a little 3 or 4 inning job, but most of his starts are going to be like 6 innings solid, 7.
Yeah, I agree with you. His last 2 starts were against Minnesota Twins, 6 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs. And then against the Angels, at the Angels, 6 innings, 7 hits, 3 earned runs there off 3 home runs. I think this is Tigers or pass for me. Now, I am a little curious here. I'm going to look up a Tigers team total, and I'll say this. I made these graphics a little earlier than usual, around 8 a.m. So those graphics are the odds are from 8 a.m. Tigers are now down to 136, 162 for the White Sox. So it seems like everyone's kind of feeling the same way. You can get a 3.5 for their team total at -115.
Yeah.
I really think that it's going to be. What's fascinating to me, Ragu, is you said Tony La Russa is going to be gone soon. I've been serious. I don't think he's going to be leaving anytime soon. I think they're going to ride him out just because of Reinsdorf's loyalty to him. Just because of that. No, I think he should have been fired probably weeks ago by this point. But I think Reinsdorf is just going to ride it out. And I'll say this. If he doesn't get fired over the All-Star break, and then I'm going to get more confident about that, him not getting fired, because the All-Star break is kind of like the perfect chance for them to do it.
Yeah, I agree. And you've been pretty good on calling these firings of late. So
yeah,
I got to roll with whatever you're saying.
I forgot who the other coach was. It was Joe Madden, and then someone else got fired like back to back. And
Joe Girardi.
Yes, Girardi. Yeah. Oh yeah.
The Joes.
Yeah.
The
right.
Joes.
Man, that's funny. So I think he's gonna ride it out. Maybe the only chance he has the White Sox have is the All-Star break, but we'll see. It's still a week away. They'll still have some crushing losses, I'm sure. And losing 3 straight to the surging Tigers will hurt them, I'm very much sure. Let's move on to this next game. Phillies Cardinals here. Phillies with Kyle Gibson, Dakota Hudson here. And truthfully, I was a little surprised to see the line at where it was. That's just my first glance. I was like, oh, okay, even money, sure. But you look at the last starts, both these pitchers, the Kyle Gibson has saw these Cardinals last time out, and he got crushed.
Yeah.
At home too. 4 innings, 7 hits, 6 earned runs, 4 home runs there, 2 Ks, 2 walks. And that made me pump the brakes there. I was like, well, I do think he is going to pitch better here, obviously. But I don't know if I want to put my money on it and see. The Phillies and Cardinals both are hitting pretty poorly in the last 3 weeks against righties, 24 weighted runs created, or 24th, in weighted runs created plus are the Cardinals 89, and the Phillies are 21st at 97. So again, another pass here from me. I'm glad I didn't move on the Cardinals game yesterday, because I would have backed the Cardinals there, and I would have lost there because Zach Wheeler brought his A game in Busch Stadium, going very, very well there. And truly, Wainwright brought his shit too, but it was just a 2-0 win for them. But I just had to make another pass here. I guess I would lean towards an over, perhaps, after a low-scoring game yesterday, but I just had to be another pass here for me.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at Hudson versus the Phillies, he's got a couple efforts a couple years back. He's getting up there a little bit too, with an age per se. But I mean, the looks he gives against the Phillies, he's had a couple outings where he's went like 5 and 6 innings, a couple 3 walks. earned run wise. He's probably, surprisingly enough, he's got a two run effort and 1 run effort, but he not a lot to look into in this particular spot here. My first initial thought was, when you're looking at the current ERAs on these guys and the way they're going, it does tend to look like maybe, even though the bats are a little cool, this is one of those type games where, the bats can get a little warm early and then you can be looking at it over. But I would probably looking at it maybe like a 1-run game. So maybe my initial look on this one was maybe to kind of back the Phillies on the run line here, or getting the +1.5. But I'm not going to lay 200 to do that. So it was a pass for me. So I had no interest here. But +1.5 at -200. It's not the way I play baseball. I'm usually looking to get, like, maybe if I get a +1.5, depending on who the team is, or somebody like the Orioles, I'm pretty comfortable backing them with a shorter number, but not a game like this, because this game it might go over. Maybe look at the first 5 total. Let me see what that might be here. The first 5 innings. Well, you can get the Cardinals at -0.5 or +115, but no interest there. So we're looking at a 4.5, 120. So that's about right. So I don't find any value there either. So I'm going to stay off it. Maybe look towards the maybe a team total. Maybe let's see, Cardinals are 4.5 at +110, and then the Phillies are 3.5 at 155. So it's definitely a pass there. So the game's going to be another pass for me. So we're passing on the first one and passing on the second one.
Yeah, hey, got to be selective here. I think I would say this whole month actually, but I'll say specifically these last 2 weeks have been treacherous for a lot of people. Teams trying to limp into the All-Star break, stuff like that has been affecting a lot of cappers out there. So it's just, this is a time to pump the brakes and beware. We've got 9 days, 10 days to the All-Star break officially now. So it's a pump the brakes kind of time. But this is an interesting series. I'll say that, just because these teams faced each other recently in Philadelphia and all that stuff. I definitely don't hate that 4.5 for the Cardinals, just because, like I said, 6 earned runs last time. Even if he does pitch better, let's say we cut that in half, 3, sure. If we get 3-2 and he pitches 5-6 innings, I'll still trust myself with the Phillies bullpen. But yeah, I'll still end up passing on this game.
Yeah, that's probably a decent look right there. I mean, that's probably one of the 2 looks you might have in this game is catching some bullpen action with some runs late in the game, possibly.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, the price is not bad. What'd you say, 115? So that's about where we like to be, on the high side, 115, 120.
I agree with you there. And you spoke about those Baltimore Orioles. Let's talk about them now. Man, they are electric. They are such a fun team, and it comes at the expense of the Angels. A walk-off last night. Very, very fun game. They're surging, man. They really are. And I really wish that they could be in any other division than the AL East. They're 41-44. And tragically, that's 20.5 games back of first place in the AL East, which is hilarious. 6 straight for the Orioles. Their run differential now is only -19.
I know, it's crazy.
Which is crazy to say too. Yeah, I mean, literally, if they were in the AL Central, they'd be battling for second place right now.
Yeah, they're I think they're on the wild card scenario. What are they on the wild card scenario? They're like, I mean, here's the thing with that. I mean, not to cut you off, but we're talking about, the run differential and them kind of sliding up. I mean, you got Boston, Tampa, and Toronto all in second place with 45 wins, and you got Baltimore sitting there with 41 wins, and they're like 4 games back out of the wild card. Tampa's up a game because of they have 1 less loss, but that whole division is kind of shifted around a little bit behind the Yanks. Tampa was kind of flip-flop with Toronto, and Boston's kind of sitting in the middle. Boston was up there too. But, like you said, these teams right now, they're just trying to, Detroit, I mean, Baltimore's surging a little bit, and the other teams are, I'm going to say, hanging on. But I know Tampa's hanging on, Toronto's hanging on. Boston's just kind of, floating around a little bit. But Tampa, and I'm surprised Tampa's sitting where they're at, to be honest with you. With all
now, I'll tell you, Raghu, The Blue Jays right now, they're swooning. The Red Sox are playing poorly, and it seems like the Rays are up there. Let me double check actually, because I've got their standings and everything up with me in front of me. They're 5-5, but that's good enough in this division right now when the Blue Jays and Orioles are 3-7 their last 10. So that this is exactly the stretch they needed, because I thought like 2 weeks ago, I was like, I don't know if this Rays team is going to hang on,
Yeah.
and now that they're right back in it, obviously. So I'm looking at the wild card spots, and I love this little digression we're going through. Seattle 43-42, 2 games behind the Blue Jays. The Cleveland Guardians are 40-41, and the Baltimore Orioles are right there, 4 games back at 41-44. The schedule is just so brutal for them that eventually they're going to fall off. And I think they will lean towards selling rather than buying, obviously. So I love them. I love what they're doing.
They got some nice young talent with the bats.
They are the Pirates light right now.
Right, there you go. Perfect.
They're exactly like the Pirates. And truthfully, I should be betting their team totals just the same. It should have been the same thing when Adley Rutschman came in. It took him a little longer to kind of settle in and everything, but defensively, he's still really good. He's got the back going. And yeah, I mean, Mancini gets his first walk-off in what seems like forever. So I'm very excited about this team. Today, we'll talk about today because I do like them today, honestly. I do like them today, again, especially at plus money at home. Let me double check, because obviously this line could have moved since I made the graphics a little earlier today. But Dean Kramer, he finally had a bad outing last time against Texas, 4 2/3, 8 hits, 5 earned runs there. But he'd been rolling previously to that. He's been last time before that, he went to Seattle, 7 innings, 4 hits, no earned runs, 5 Ks, 2 walks. And I think obviously, people hate when we use this word, but he was kind of due for a bad start. He's not prime Clayton Kershaw or whatever. He's going to have a bad start every once in a while. And once you see Dean Kramer put together 4 bad starts, it might be that time, or 4 good starts, excuse me. It might be that time. The Orioles against lefties are 20th, 94 weighted runs created plus. They're down to even money, Ragu. And truthfully, I think I'm going to move on him still. I'm going to move on him at the even money price here. Patrick Sandoval is fine. Like, I think he's a good pitcher for what the Angels have put out there recently. His last start against Houston was not pretty, but, it's a Houston Astros team that's really good, obviously. At Houston, 5 innings, 8 hits, 5 earned runs, 9 Ks, 2 walks on 1 home run. And before that, against the Seattle Mariners at home, he goes 5 innings, 8 hits, 1 earned run there, 6 Ks, 2 walks. But their offense is just so putrid. It is just so bad. It is so bad.
Yeah.
28th, 73 weighted runs created plus against righties in the last 3 weeks, excuse me. And yesterday was the perfect encapsulation of what the Angels do. I'll pull up the stats again just to quote them specifically. But it is a classic Ohtani and Trout come in, do their thing, and then, of course, the team blows it. It is my favorite. It's quickly become my favorite kind of stat there when Ohtani and Trout combine. And they both, of course, they got all 4 RBIs yesterday.
That's all they do. That's all they got is Ohtani and Trout. That's it. They go south one game. You might get a goose egg. You might get a 1 spot.
Exactly. So I'm moving on Orioles full game money line here. I also like I think we've got a very clear bullpen advantage too as well. So that's why I'm not going first 5 specifically. And plus the Orioles are just magic right now in the late innings too. So I don't hate a team total as well. I'll look that up as well. I think that was what I was looking up as well. 3.5 minus 130, obviously pretty tough, and a 4 plus 110. Not bad at all, but I'm taking full game at even money.
Yeah, I'm riding with you on that 100%. I think even though they did get the win at versus Texas, with that with his little less than stellar start, but I think that's kind of the way his team has been playing, picking them up. They give him run supports. They usually give him run support, so I wouldn't really look too much at the team total for that matter. I mean, they have like a 7-6. They lost to Seattle like 2-0, and they had a 4-0 win at the Sox, and then a 1-0 win at Tampa, and then a 10-7 win back when they played the Royals. But yeah, I agree. I think against I wouldn't call them a lesser opponent, but a subpar opponent, even though they're kind of on par with them if you have to look at standing wise. But they're the better team right now. They're swinging the bats.
Mm-hmm.
Kramer up on the mound. Sandoval's nice. Probably gives them better effort for them, a better chance to compete here. But I think the bats will get there late. I think they'll get a couple runs early, and then I think they'll close out the game. So at that price, there's no need for the run line. Even though they are the best team, and I've been saying it most of the season when I've been on with you and Jimmy that Baltimore is the top team. Last year and this year across all the splits and everything with the run line. If you want to, take the 1.5 minus 160, go ahead and do that. But I'm comfortable with taking them today, just on the regular money line at the even money. So you can mark me down for that too.
Well, let me tell you, I found the tweet. Mike Trout yesterday, 3 for 5 home runs, stolen base, 3 RBIs. Shohei Ohtani, 3 for 5 home run, 1 RBI. Final 5-4 Orioles. Just so good every time, man. Just every time. It's so good. Orioles money line for me. Let's keep it moving. Moving on to this battle of lefties. And I thought this was a really good matchup here. Just if you're a baseball head and if you really like baseball, this is the matchup you'll be watching today. Smeltzer versus Perez. And on the face of it, I said, all right, time to fade Perez again. It's going to be one of those days. I take the better team with the Twins. But I doing the research, getting a little deeper in here. Texas against lefties is the concerning thing, and what he kept me off of it, and maybe should push me to just betting the Rangers here. But I like Smeltzer a lot. I think he's a good pitcher. 9th are the Rangers in the last 3 weeks against lefties. 121 weighted runs graded plus. The Minnesota Twins are 99 right now. That is 18th, so pretty average. Smeltzer's last appearance was against the Orioles, what we just mentioned. 6 innings, 6 hits, 3 earned runs off 3 home runs there, 3 Ks, 1 walk. And before that, he went against the Cleveland Guardians. 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 9 Ks, no walks there. Martin Perez has been, wobbling as of late. Has not been the shutdown machine he was earlier in the season. His last 2 appearances on the road, 6 2/3 against the Mets, 3 earned runs off 2 home runs. That's still a pretty good start when you consider what Martin Perez is, obviously. And then against the Royals, at the Royals, 6 innings, 7 hits, 4 earned runs there, 6 Ks, 2 walks. The Royals are good against lefties at home too, so maybe take that with a grain of salt as well. But I had to pass on this game too here. I would. Gun to my head, I guess I'm taking the Rangers, but it's just a tough game. I think the Twins are just a better ball club, honestly, and I'd be hoping that the bats for the Rangers could get to Smeltzer here, but I think he's a good pitcher, so pass game.
I like I like the Rangers here. I think the reason I like the Rangers is a tough pitching matchup without question, but the thing that happens with Smeltzer, for whatever the reason is, they don't give him a whole ton of run support, especially his last 4 games. They've only given him like 1 run, 2 runs, and they've lost 4 out of the last 5. I mean, when they lost to they lost 3 out of the last 4. They beat Cleveland 1-0. Even in that win, they only gave 1 run there. So I just certain team, when certain pitchers get up for certain teams, it just seems like not so much. I wouldn't even call it. Where they turn around and they say, okay, look, we got this guy's on the bump today. Let's go out and give him some runs. Certain guys, when they get up on the bump like that, they do that. To me, Smeltzer's one of those guys. Even the last time they scored a bunch of runs, they beat Tampa back in early June, 9-4. They scored 9 runs there. So, and I think Perez kind of comes back to the middle here with this effort here. So I'm gonna get on the Rangers early. I mean, if they lose late, I don't care. I'm on them the first 5 minus a half plus 120.
Yeah, I don't hate that at all, especially getting them early, or I should say taking them early instead of late. Avoid that bullpen. Bullpen's like a plague. Don't want anything.
Yeah, and the lefty matchups, like you were saying, they're like top 10 in a lot of categories versus left-handed pitchers, OPS and average runs, the whole 9. So I'll take them. I'll take a shot with Texas here.
Mike M saying, by the way, in our chat, yes, run on the first inning in Texas, 8 straight versus the AL Central, and Texas has won 8 of their last 9 after.
There you go.
Texas has lost 8 of their last 9 after a win there, so be careful. Full game, but first 5 I definitely like. And Ryan Scahill, by the way, also liking the first 5 under 4.5 in the game. Don't hate that either. Next game on our slate, we've got a Houston-Oakland matchup. And this is unfortunately, I think this is going to be my least favorite minus 300 fade that I've done this year. First 5 full game Oakland A's here. As I say every Say Hey plays. If you're new to Say Hey plays, I fade every team that is minus 300 or better. I have a mantra that I just do not believe that any team should be that high of a favorite in a baseball game, in a one-off baseball game. Peter Loshak says baseball is all about weighted coin flips, and I will take my coin flip here. It's been successful. It's been truly heartbreaking at times, i.e. the Royals. But I'm going to take him here. First 5 full game, it's going to hurt me, obviously. Zach Loge, he's not very good, obviously. His last 3 appearances were in AAA, and he's given up 4 runs almost every start, essentially, in AAA. Last time out specifically, he goes 4 innings, 8 hits, 4 runs, a home run, 2 Ks, 1 walk. But then the start previous was probably his best start he had. He went 6 2/3, 5 hits, 1 earned run. And you look at both those starts, the second start, or the first start I mentioned, I should say, was his second start against that same team. So he went back to back, got a little bit touched up, but the rest of his starts have been 4 earned runs or 3 earned runs the whole time into AAA. He's not been very good in the majors either. The Astros are first against lefties. Framber Valdez is literally my favorite lefty in baseball. I think he's dominant. It's kind of a shame that he plays on the Astros, or I don't know what it is, but he'll never get that Cy Young buzz, really. But it's first 5 full game A's for me, unfortunately.
Well, I'll give you a little bit of maybe there's a dim light at the end of the tunnel for you. Valdez is 1-2 versus the A's lifetime with a 3.35 ERA.
All right. All right.
And then I was looking at the A's total. I said, well, do the A's have a possible way? I know you're liking the plus 250 or whatever you're getting on the plus side, but even on the, for them to get 2.5 runs, it's minus 115, and then the over on the and then the under's 2.5 at minus 115. The total for the Astros is 5.5 at minus 110. That's a little steep for me, but he's probably going to give up some runs here. They definitely going to give up some runs, but the thing is, you do have a little light at the end of the tunnel, possibly. Framber, I like him a lot too, but sometimes he has a little bit of a control issue. He can walk some guys, and usually walks in MLB. You can't give any team, I don't care how bad they are, extra outs, extra opportunities to put runners in scoring position, runners on base to that regard. So, I'm going to stay off of this game, but I'm going to cheer you on with your A's play.
I'll tell you right now, Ragu, I actually remember this pretty well. The last time you were on, there was not specifically the last time, but the last time you were on and there was a minus 300 was the Dodgers-Pirates series.
Yeah, they swept them that series.
Mm-hmm. You were on with me. I think it was the last game of that series, and I think you basically convinced me to keep taking them, and I did, thankfully. And that's kind of what began this minus 300 fade endeavor. So we're going to keep taking it. The last couple of games have been very close, too. The last 2 have been very close, narrow wins. It was the Rockies versus the Dodgers with Jose Urena. The Dodgers win it in the walk-off in 9th inning. And then the Royals-Astros game, I think 3 days ago, where the Royals blow the first 5 and get – well, I don't know if they get blown out, but they could give up the lead, I guess, in the last part of the game.
It's a sleepy park, Oakland. You can go out there and you can get these little 2-1, 3-2 wins out there, and that's the kind of games that Oakland wins. So, not to put it past, I think like I say, 1-2. I don't know how far back that was. I got to go back and look, but I'm looking at some notes I had. But yeah, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'm going to come in with you on that play.
Welcome. Well, I'll say this:
I'm gonna make it official. I'm gonna take the plus 250.
I think it's very easy to hedge as well. Like during the game, if you're feeling like if the A's score first, obviously there are several points in the game. If it gets later and later, where the Astros become plus money or the other team becomes plus money. Example: the Royals were up 2-0 in the fifth-ish inning against the Astros, and the Astros were like plus 120, and that's that's the perfect time. Just bet it all on the Astros again. But yeah, well, we're welcome to the minus 300 island. It's a sweaty island, I'll tell you that. Yeah. But it's a fun time. It's a fun time. So A's money line for both of us here. Who would have thought? What gambling show is going to put you on A's money line? This us right here against a minus 300. Cleveland Guardians, Kansas City Royals is next up for us here. And we've got Tristan McKenzie versus Jonathan Heasley here. And, I'll admit, I think the odds on the screen are wrong. That's why I double checked. I looked immediately and I was like, I don't think those are right. Minus 145 for Tristan McKenzie, plus 122 right now for Heasley. Over under at 8.5 for him right now. And that feels like kind of about right. Heasley has been pitching. I'll say this. He has his moments of pitching well. Against the Houston Astros, at the Houston Astros, 6 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs, 1 of them earned, 3 Ks, 2 walks. Very, very impressive there. Before that, he got crushed against the Rangers, 7 earned runs there in 3 2/3. So obviously consistency is going to be a real thing, and that's what makes good pitchers great and great pitchers are amazing. But I can't, I should say I can't. I don't want to back the Royals here. No team totals. I like Tristan McKenzie as well. He dominated the Yankees last time out and that's really impressive to say the least. Now, especially in the regular season, or only in the regular season, I actually should say. But 7 innings of 1 hit ball, no earned run, 7 Ks, 1 walk. You just got to tip your cap and say, shout out to Tristan McKenzie there. Can he back that up again? I'm not so sure. I don't know. So I had to pass on this one too, Rigo.
Yeah, I mean, his worst efforts have definitely been against Minnesota. Then he come back with a nice effort against the Yankees. So is that an aberration going back the other way? If you look at what he's done against Lester, Colorado and Oakland, he's got a couple of W's there, giving up two run efforts there. So he's either on or he's off according to what he's got. So which McKenzie we're going to get today? I know the Royals have seen him a few times, probably like 3 or 4 games, I want to say, just guessing at looking at some numbers. And some of these Royals have hit him pretty decent, and Whit Merrifield's hitting. He's probably got the worst out of all of them, for being a leadoff guy. He's batting like 167 and 18 at bats at him. But Whit's hitting the ball really well right now. I think he's batting over 400. And he's been lighting up the scoreboard. So, yeah, this would have to be a spot that I would have to back the Royals or pass just based on the numbers I'm seeing versus McKenzie. Maybe a good overlook here possibly. That would be the other look. I'd probably lean over in this spot here too. I would lean towards the over. What is that over? What do you got up there? 9?
I got it's 8.5. 8.5 at minus
8.5. So actually, people are betting the under. It's currently 8.5, huh?
No, well, yeah, I think the odds on the graphic from yesterday, so you don't have to worry about that. I think it's 8.5. I'm not sure what it opened.
It's used to the over. I think it's like 118, 120-ish. So that would be my look here. I would lean to the over here. I think not a whole lot of looks here for Heasley versus the Guardians. I think maybe like 1 outing possibly. So, it's been spotty with the bats in there. Some guys have got some hits, some guys have not. So, yeah, and Ramirez is the man, though. He's going to get his. Maybe look to a little prop on Ramirez for bases or something like that. Possible.
No, I'd agree with you there. It's Josh Naylor or Jose Ramirez, the only guys that make that offense go. And shout out to Michael A. Taylor yesterday for the walk-off win for the Royals yesterday. A nice little comeback win for them. Whit Merrifield hitting a rare home run too. Next game on our slate here, we've got Arizona Diamondbacks versus the Colorado Rockies here. Kyle Freeland versus Mr. Madison Bumgarner, and now I'm starting to doubt my graphic a little bit now because I've got now the Madison Bumgarner at minus 124 here, plus 104 for the Diamondbacks here. The line has been moving apparently. 9 is the total here. I'm pretty sure I actually updated the odds here for this one. So it's just a very, very interesting move here towards the Diamondbacks, and thinking that, Bumgarner's going to have another good start here. He's been pitching okay. Last 2 starts, one against the his former Giants, which I don't remember it happening. I guess I didn't make a note of it, didn't make a big deal of it. It's that far away now that it's not a big deal when Madison Bumgarner plays the Giants anymore. It's pretty funny. But 5 innings, 5 hits, 3 earned runs, 4 Ks, 3 walks. Madison's a lefty, so you can always say that against the Giants. And then against the Padres, last time before that, at home, he goes 5 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 4 Ks, 3 walks. His third straight start at home, always a good sign for me. Kyle Freeland, I don't know. He's pitched. He went back to back against the Dodgers, 4 earned runs and then 3 earned runs. Pretty good, but I never feel confident in backing him really. The Rockies against lefties are doing really well right now. 7th, 126 weighted runs created plus. And while the Diamondbacks are at 24, 88 weighted runs created plus. Scary, but I'll pass here.
Yeah, the only look I have here is the over. Because even though as inconsistent and bad as the Rockies can be, they do one thing very well when they smash lefties. We know that for a fact. And Freeland, he's going to give up his spots here. So there's 2 big question marks. Is the Diamondback bats, when they can go cold, they go real cold. And then how efficient is how good are the Rockies going to hit Bumgarner? I think they'll get him. I think they'll hit him. Probably the safest play for me would probably be looking at a Colorado team total over 4.5 runs at minus 105.
Christopher Commentiti just put that in the chat as well. So you've got his backing there.
Yeah, and I like that look. That I know is going to kind of be the happy medium, trying to figure out what's going to happen here. More so towards the full game over, because sometimes the D-backs bats can get a little cool. And then they've had some success against Bumgarner. They know him well. They've seen him a million times. So that's out of question. So I think that's the best look here in this spot. And you're getting 4.5 is a good medium price here. 4.5. We could see a couple runs early and a few runs late. So I like that look. I'm going to be on that. That's going to be my official play. It's going to be the Rockies over 4.5 minus 105.
Shout out to the Rockies. Not Flush Allen also saying, by the way, this game screams over.
Yeah.
So
it does. It does. I mean, on paper it does. I just worry about the D-backs bat sometimes. Even though Freeland's gonna give up some shit. I mean, if anybody's gonna give runs, it's gonna be Freeland. Without a doubt.
I agree with you guys wholeheartedly.
If this game was in Arizona, if this game was in Colorado, it'd probably be 12.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I think you're 100% right about that. Just because it's in Arizona, the total is lower. But I think this is an over game for sure. I'm not moving on it. Ragu likes a team total over 4.5 for Los Rockies. I like it as well. Next game on our slate, we've got the game that our Dami Gunn is going to be at, and I'm excited to hear his report from the game tomorrow. I'm going to scroll back up. I should have started the comments and wrote down what he said, but here are. He said, I'm probably going with Carrasco over K-prop, and team total over for the Mets is also a look. This is a big game for them after a terrible loss last night. Plus, they have Alcantara tomorrow, and then the Braves. The Braves, a gigantic series there. He's going to be at the game, and they're retiring Keith Hernandez's number as well. And he's also got the over here at 7.5.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a sucker for betting on teams on team retirements, like jersey retirements. The Red Sox, I do it often with the Red Sox, and the Red Sox always lose on those days. And it's just, and same with the Celtics too. Celtics always lose when they retire jerseys. AE, Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett. But I right there with you guys there. I think it'd be a Mets team total and Mets for me here. I'm gonna double check again because now I'm doubting my my awakeness during the graphics process. Yeah, so I'm right here. It's a 7.5. Why is this gonna? The Mets team total must be low. 3.5 plus 105.
Yeah, that's low
Against Braxton Garrett. Last time out for Braxton, 7 1/3, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 4 Ks, 1 walk, but that was at the Nationals. At the Nationals. I mean,
yeah.
Come on. And then last time before that was against the Cardinals, who we know are proficient against hitting lefties sometimes. 4 2/3, 7 hits, 5 earned runs. They're 106 weighted runs created plus right now are the Mets against lefties, 15th. That's average. I'm going to move on that, Mets team total. I just plus money for a 3.5. I just think that's pretty nuts.
Yeah, that is kind of a low number. I mean, the Mets they do pretty good against they could do pretty good against righties overall. They're a good hitting squad. It just seems like a real low number here, and I usually like to back the Marlins against right-handed pitching too. For a team total from a team total aspect, but probably the better play here. I have to agree with Domi would be that right there. Without a question. That just seems like low-hanging fruit for some reason, but. I usually take pause when I see something like that. When something looks as juicy as that there, that's kind of like one of those things where like, yeah, what's really going on here? You start peeling back the onion, looking back at it. But I think we get, I'm sorry, I said righties, lefties. Braxton's a lefty, but still, for that matter, I think the Mets team total here is in a good spot here. So I didn't get to the window with this game. I'm going to pass here, but if I had to do it, that would seem the most logical play here. And then the over Carrasco, he's tough. I think this is a big mismatch here on the bump here. I think even though the Marlins like to hit righties, if you go back and look at some of the numbers here with Aguilar 333, Cooper Garrett, he's hitting 500. Let's see.
I mean, I think I'm right there with Nutflush Allen, by the way. Does this game really deserve a 7.5 with these two pitchers?
Yeah. I mean, Carrasco can give it up, and like I said, the Marlins can hit righty. So yeah, that looks awful low. Looks awful low, especially with Garrett. You know what I mean? And Carrasco, he can give it up too. So we'll see what happens. What's the weather like in that park today?
I was gonna say I'm gonna pull up Ballpark Pal right now to get the weather, but I don't know. I don't think I have Tommy Gunn's number. Ragu, do you have Tommy Gunn's number? Just give him a call.
I do. Yes, I do.
Give him a call right now. Call him right now and ask him what the weather's like. We'll give you a mute. We'll go on to this next game real quick and I'll introduce it, but give him a call and be like, hey, Tommy, how's the weather doing? We need boots on the ground reporting from you, Tommy. This is what we need. I hope he answers. It will be very, very funny.
Hey, I got him.
Yes, ask him. Yes.
Hey, Tommy, I'm on the show. They want to know what the weather's like at Shea State or City Field.
I'm watching it.
Oh, you want?
The weather is beautiful.
Okay.
Gorgeous day, no wind, 85 degrees. Beautiful.
All right, perfect.
Beautiful. Thank you, Tommy.
Welcome to the show, Dom.
There it is.
All right, guys. Everybody have a good luck.
All right, buddy. Appreciate it.
I mean, today.
All right.
Thank you, Tommy. Over weather. That's what I just heard. I just heard over weather. There we go. Beautiful.
85 degrees, sunny, beautiful day in New York.
Yeah, beautiful day in New York. That's hilarious. Thank you, Dommy. Dommy the weatherman. Even when he's not on the show, we still got him getting the weather. Appreciate you, Dommy, for the weather. I'm moving on officially. That Mets team total over 3.5. I can't. How can you not? Dommy's going to be there. They're retiring Keith Hernandez's number. Seinfeld. All that good stuff. Ragu, I'll tell you, what are the odds right now Seinfeld's at that jersey retirement?
Pretty good. I would say.
I'm my fingers are crossed. My fingers are crossed. I'm hoping to see a picture of Tommy Gunn with Jerry Seinfeld in the stadium. That's all I want. Just he walks by and Tommy's like, yo, Jerry. And then they get a picture together. That's the ultimate goal right there. So shout out to Tommy and shout out to the Mets. Fun game today. Cannot wait for it now. Awesome. Pirates versus the Milwaukee Brewers. Next game on our slate here, Ragu. And we have this is a deja vu. We just saw this matchup with the Milwaukee Brewers and the Pirates. I had their first 5 team total over 1.5 yesterday. That cash, thank you to the chat for basically giving me the push I needed to get there. The travel spot was concerning for me, but they ended up getting 2 runs off a home run, kind of exactly what me and Connor said. So it's kind of funny. And by the way, I do know who Jerry Seinfeld is, Christopher Commentini, but I have not watched the show Seinfeld, and I have not watched the episode Keith Hernandez either. Brandon Woodruff, I remember Brandon Woodruff's last start very clearly because I said Brandon Woodruff's really on a heater right now. Since he came back in the minor leagues, he was dominating. And I said, I'll take my Pirates team total anyways. He shut him out, absolutely shut him down, and the bullpen did the same. 6 innings, 6 hits, no earned runs, 8 Ks, no walks at Pittsburgh last time out for Woodruff. Back against him here, truthfully, when I first woke up and I looked at the matchups again, and I was like, I really don't want to go down this road again with Woodruff. But I first 5 team total again over 1.5. I'm going to pull it up here. I'm looking for the matchup. Here we go. It's minus 260 now for those Milwaukee Brewers, but you can get a first 5 team total at 1.5 again, plus 140 with the Pirates. Have I learned my lesson, Ragu? I really don't know. I really don't know if I've learned my lesson. It seems like it's always home run or bust with the Milwaukee Brewers, and Woodruff's been phenomenal. But is he going to do it again, Ragu? What do you think?
I mean, he has some of his best. Seems like some of his best work is against your Pirates. Overall, he's got like a 6-2 win record. He's 3.76 ERA. So hey, you're going to take a swing early on. Maybe that's the way to look at it. You know what I mean? You figure if they're going to get to him, they're going to get to him early, possibly. And they just, like you said, they just seen him recently. So might not be a bad look there. Overall, I was going to try to back Woodruff here, but I'm not going to lay the numbers. But I'll cheer you on with your effort. And I think it's a decent play overall. If you're going to just mess with that 1.5, like I say, over 2-0 outing. Who pitched that game for them last time? Do you remember?
Against Woodruff? That's a good question because obviously we have not talked about Zach Thompson, who's going against him here. And me and Connor talked about Aaron Ashby yesterday when he came back from a forearm injury. We were both kind of like, man, I don't know if we're going to do it here. But I'll say, and this was the exact matchup too. I just looked it up, and it was Zach Thompson as well against him.
It was Zach Thompson. Wow.
Zach Thompson also coming off a forearm injury, and I don't love that. Even though last time out he went 4 2/3, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 Ks, 1 walk. You did.
Well, that's what I was going to say. He's probably going to look at about a 4-inning game here again. He'll probably see maybe everybody twice, possibly, if that. But so that might bode well for your total early on. To kind of keep not. It has nothing to do with Milwaukee's total, but if you're going to back the Pirates here, I would definitely get involved. Maybe the first 5 if I'm backing the Pirates.
Yeah, I think I do think the Brewers will crush Thompson today. I do think that the back-to-back is not going to help him here. And why a 7.5? Is this total? Is this going to be one of those rare times where I take the other team's team total against the Pirates?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking initially. I was looking at the Brewers team total.
4.5 at minus 105 is really the only one that's bettable. If it was a 4, I think I would move on it, but 4 is at minus 150. And then just for my sake, if first 5 team total over 2.5 is plus 110. So I don't know. Ultimately, I think I'm going to pass on the game. I wrote it down, the first 5 team total for the Pirates, and we'll see here. But I'm going to mention it. The Brewers, their offense kind of like got it. I don't know if it got right, but it came to life against the Pirates last time. They're 5th against righties right now, as it stands, 125 weighted runs graded plus. So I could easily see them going off again. Let's talk about your team here, Ragu, the Tampa Bay Rays. Tampa Bay Rays versus the Cincinnati Reds here. Drew Rasmussen back on the bump here. His second start after coming back from a hamstring injury. It was on a back-to-back. It was a doubleheader. It was the second half of doubleheader he played in, pitched in 4 2/3, 5 hits, 2 runs, one of them earned against the Toronto Blue Jays. And that's kind of that doubleheader kind of started their swoon that they've been on now. I typically, well, I'll say this. This game kind of put me in a pretzel because I typically would like to fade a pitcher, after he looks really good for his first IL start. I'd like to fade him on the second start. But obviously, it's the Reds here. They're 30th against righties in the last 3 weeks, 68 weighted runs created plus. So not the best. And Hunter Green, I'm glad he's still pitching. The Reds, keep him up, let him pitch the whole year, and let him take his lumps.
Yeah,
This is how you learn as a starting pitcher and as a pitcher. Every pitcher except for the really, really greats like Clayton Kershaw and those guys take their first year and they just get their ass handed to them, and they learn and they get better from it. And Hunter Green is going to be a really, really good pitcher in this league. I'm very confident about that. But right now, 5 1/3, 7 hits, 6 earned runs off 2 home runs against the Mets last time. Against the Cubs, he pitched pretty okay, 4 innings, 2 hits, 3 earned runs there. He just gives up too many home runs. And when you throw 105 or whatever it is he's throwing, it's pretty easy to give up home runs. So ultimately, this had to be a pass game for me.
Yeah. Well, what we went over earlier with Baltimore, how they in that East, Tampa is kind of like splitting along. Just they're chugging, they're climbing that little ladder, and with a little help of the other guys, kind of slipping a little bit. But I think this is one of the spots where Tampa could benefit again. Like you said, with Green's learning curve, I think Rasmussen should do okay in Cincinnati. I know the Park Eels runs, and I think that might bode well for the Rays here. I don't want to lay the 150 or 160 even. I know it's kind of ticked up a little bit, but I will be interested in the run line here with Tampa Bay to extend some runs here. So I'm going to gamble a little bit here. I'm just hoping that the good Rays show up. Usually I like them backing them at the Trop, or when they play in league. I like backing them, when they're playing in division and league. Interleague, not too crazy about, but I think this is a good spot for them. So I'm gonna get on board with the Rays here on the run line. I think my book has got them at let's see, what are they using for the Rays? They're plus 100, so -1.5 plus 100 official.
Well, Raghu, I'll say this: a little breaking news, not big breaking news, but we need to have a moment of silence for this, Raghu. Hansel Robles was just released from the Red Sox, so we need to have a moment of silence for Hansel Robles' Red Sox career. Thank you. So we'll move on because I have nothing on this game. It's a tough game, but this is the game you can skip basically on your day. Reds, Rays. It's just bleh kind of game. But we'll say non-division road favorites are successful. So if you take anything, I would lean to the Rays here. Nationals, Braves, next game up, and Patrick Corbin back again with Patrick Corbin. Now, my obviously the first instinct is you take the Braves in some form or fashion here with Corbin on the bump here. But it was weird. I do my splits for the last 3 weeks, and I looked at it, and the Braves against lefties were 25th, 84 weighted runs created plus. I was like, whoa, that's weird. And then I expanded it out from today until the beginning of last month. They're 7th, 125. So obviously they're good against lefties, but they're a little bit of a swoon, a little bit of a cold streak the last 3 weeks. So I think that had to push me off of it. Really, I would love to take a team total. I'll let me look here and see if it's a 4.5 or a 5, because obviously with Corbin it's going to be ridiculous. 5.5 minus 115. Yeah, so that makes it super hard to bet. Kyle Wright obviously is a really good pitcher in his own right. And see what I did there? Own right? I didn't even know I did that. That's hilarious. But guys like him and Spencer Strider are what makes the Atlanta Braves and makes them. I mean, I flip-flop on this often, but it's the Mets and the Braves for me in the National League right now to win that whole league and the World Series potentially. And the more innings Spencer Strider gets, the better he's gonna get. And Kyle Wright, he had some wobbles, but he's gotten the experience to pitch through those wobbles, and he's pitching well. And their lineup, it's tough. So I had to pass on this game, but man, oh man, are the Braves fucking good.
Yeah. I mean, they put him up for a 16th spot last time they played him, I think, if I'm not mistaken. They scored like 16 runs against Corbin. Is that correct? Let me see. Yeah, back on early in the season, 4-12, they scored 16 on Corbin. But Corbin's been up and down against him. I think he's got like 6 and 8 lifetime. Right is dynamite. Okay, I get a little rhyme in there too. But same time, we're looking at a team that's starting to play pretty good baseball overall. Atlanta, solid. I don't trust it, though. I still don't trust it. I think it could be a sneaky under here. I think if Corbin has a halfway decent game, Wright's going to be in shutdown mode. As a matter of fact, if you look at the team totals in this spot, I think Atlanta's sitting at 5.5 at -110, and Nationals at 3.5 -125. 3.5 under is 105. So both Atlanta's team total shaded to the under. And I think the total itself, if I'm not mistaken, is shaded to the under, like -120, so 9.5. So this could be a sneaky under right here in this spot here. Even though, Corbin likes to give up a ton of runs, Wright in shutdown mode and Corbin with a decent effort, I think you can get a sneaky under in this spot, 9.5.
I don't hate it. Unders are scary to bet with this Brave squad, but if you don't get any participation from the Nationals, it's pretty helpful to get that under there. Pretty helpful.
I agree.
All right, let's move on to the showcase game and series of the last couple of days, Red Sox, Yankees. And the Yankees have – it seems like all the baseball gods are on the Yankees side because they just happen to fall on the Red Sox days where they just threw 3 AAA pitchers back to back here. It's pretty tough. Cutter Crawford is not good. He's especially not good when the team tells him he's going to pitch. And I'm not really sure. He's a weird guy, I think. He got thrown in there on a spot start last second against the Seattle Mariners and dominated. And I was like, whoa, okay, that's weird. And then his next start where they told him yeah, okay, you're going to have this next start, he fucking stinks. And then his last appearance against the Tampa Bay Rays was not a start. They opened it up with Austin Davis, I believe it was. He went 2, and then Cutter Crawford came in after and dominated the Rays. 5 1/3, 2 hits, no runs, 8 Ks, 1 walk. So I don't know what to make of Cutter, but it took a second last night, and I just stepped back, and I was like, obviously the Yankees were an easy play last night. I know I wasn't going to make it, but why was it an easy play last night? Well, I mean, it's the Red Sox called up a pitcher from AAA to face the Yankees, who have been the best offense in the league. They're 7th right now against righties, 119 weighted runs created plus. But still, I mean, what do you expect? And now it's kind of the same situation here. We're expecting a quadruple A, AAA pitcher to pitch well against the Yankees here. No, I don't. So I'm pretty surprised this is a 9 here. I've not bet the overs per se, but I bet the Red Sox team total in both games so far it's cashed pretty easily. And the overs have both cashed easily as well. So I think I'm going to move on this over as well here. I just don't know why this is so low again. This should be a 10 again.
I agree. 100%. Matter of fact, I was looking at a way because even though I think Montgomery's faced the Sox 12 times in the career, is 1-2 versus the Sox, and they usually he's giving up. He's got like 4 innings, 5 innings, giving up like 3 to 4 runs every time out, mostly.
Yeah, and I'll say this, Ragu, for a long time, I really have a begrudging respect for Jordan Montgomery because last year in particular, he was the only Yankees pitcher that I was even slightly concerned about, because he always kind of does pitch well against the Red Sox, and it has tailed off a bit, but he is capable of going like 5 innings shut out against the Red Sox. He's a decent pitcher for sure.
Yeah, well, I mean, they got 3.5. 3.5 is the Red Sox total, minus 135. It's kind of. I wanted to get involved with that. I wouldn't. Not that I was going to say I want to fade Montgomery for the win, because he, like you said, he can hang in there with them, and like you say, 12 efforts, only 1 and 2 on the official record. But I think Boston can get 4 runs here, but I don't want to lay the 135. So then I'm looking at the over. I said, well, if the Yankees smash Cutter, the game goes over easy. So that's the best play, over 9.
I like that too. I'm moving on it officially as well. My only other look here would be a Red Sox team total, but in the first 5 innings, that's a 2.5 at, I will check, plus 135. And I think one of my favorite parts about the first 5 team totals, that you can always get pretty good plus money prices in those as well. My reasoning for that is just to isolate Montgomery, because we know the Yankees bullpen has been pretty fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, well, that tells you. Okay, so if it tells you, what is it, 2.5 is plus 135.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if it's going to happen, it's going to happen with the first 5, because that's what you're going to get out of Montgomery anyways, is more likely 5 innings. So, and it, like I say, if you yield the 3 runs, cash that ticket.
Yeah. Now I will say this. I want to look at the chat real quick as well, because I think it's everyone else is right there with us. Another over, Rance is saying here. Rance is funny. I don't know if you're talking about this game, Rance, but he said you can see a 6-3. That's funny. Kenny Wu is on Yankees minus 2.5 here. Roger that also on the over as well. And a lot of people.
Yeah, everything's shaded to the over on the team totals. The price is shaded to the over a little bit. So yeah, like I think it's like 120 is what my book had on the game officially.
Yeah, and by the way, Earl Sports Bets saying money coming in on the over, but it's gone from a 9.5 to a 9. He likes the 5 under 5 here.
So I wonder what the tickets were written versus the money. So probably some big money bets on the under. They're banking on our guy Montgomery throwing a tough gem early on. Keep it like a 1-0, 2-0, something like that. But then like you say, you get to the Yankee bullpen. Shutdown mode.
Yeah, that's the worry. That's the worry. I'm gonna take that over, but Earl,
you're gonna be cheering for the Yankees.
I wouldn't put it like that.
Come on over to the dark side. Come on over.
I would not put it like that. But I'll just say, if Cutter Crawford gets crushed today, it would not hurt my feelings too bad. Mike M, by the way, saying 90% of the tickets and 72% of the cash on the over.
Yeah.
That's worrisome.
Yeah.
I'll be honest.
Hey, I call that Vegas shenanigans. Vegas head fake.
That's scary. I'll be honest. Yeah. I do not love my 9 right now after hearing that from Mike M. And Jake Valiant's also, it is a public play. You're right about that, Jake. I mean, it makes a whole lot of sense.
No doubt. They knew the public's going that way. That's why they set the numbers like they did.
It's tough. Maybe I'll put a question mark on it. You know what, Earl and Mike M, you guys are right. I'll put a question mark on it. I'll pump the brakes a little bit. We'll see.
My initial look was with you, Boston team total over, but I don't want to lay to 135.
I'll also write down that Boston first 5 team total as well. I know a lot of people cannot bet these first 5 team totals. Bovada also has them. It's a plus 135, like I mentioned. So if you can, most places can bet on Bovada, so that's a good book as well. Also, Kenny Wu likes Yankees first 5 minus a half.
See, that 9 gives you that feeling when you get that eerie feeling, like like something's tugging at you, like like that fucking bastard's tapping you on the shoulder, say, hey, you really don't, you want to do, but you don't want to do it. But that's that 9 right there. That's what that is.
Oh, I agree with you. So let's move on from that game. Very interesting game here. expecting runs, but it's just a lot of question marks. A lot of question marks on this game. Of course, I'll be watching closely. I will be shocked if Cutter Crawford has a good game here. So we'll see here. Next game on our slate: Giants, Padres. A really good pitching matchup here. Really good. Yu Darvish, Carlos Rodon, and I think the very simple fact of it is it's Yu Darvish at home. You bet on him. I would move on Yu Darvish here. As you know, if you're a frequent watcher, say hey plays. I am not allowed to move on Yu Darvish here. Cab has barred me from betting Yu Darvish. I messed up his Verlander first 5 trend with then. So I'm not going to move on it, but it'd be Yu Darvish and the Padres first 5 for me, truthfully. The Giants against righties his last 3 weeks, 87 weighted runs created plus, 25th, while the Padres are at 16 weighted or at 16th, 101 weighted runs created plus. He's better at home. Just a simple fact that he's better at home. I think I've got a pitcher advantage. It's a 6.5 now for this total. It's dropped down a little bit from the 7 and a 3.5, of course, for that first 5. But you get a minus 110 for the Padres first 5 as well. So I will pass here, truthfully, but it'll be an interesting game to say the least here.
Yeah, this game it screams under, right? No doubt.
Yeah.
Just looking at I guess last time they played was it like 2-1? No, 6. Last time Yu Darvish pitched was 2-1, and Giants won when Rodon pitched. It was 6-0 in favor of Rodon. So, but I think one of these guys is going to get smacked. But you think it's going to be Rodon? And but you're not getting to the window with Darvish because Cab won't let you. Is that the problem?
Yes.
Cab won't let you get to Darvish, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I'm not going to fucking listen to Cab.
Do it, bet. Yes, everyone else bet on Darvish.
I'm gonna bet the over 6.5. I think one of these guys is getting smacked, and I think the fucker's going over the 6.5. So I'm not seeing a 2-1. I'm seeing like a 5-4 or 6-7. I'm gonna say that it goes over by at least 2-3 runs here. So I'm gonna be on the over. Screw what the Sharps are doing. I'm going over 6.5.
I also don't hate a Padres team total over 3 as well. It's a cheap minus 115. If you feel like fading good pitchers, Padres are I don't know if they're a good team per se, but I think they're better than 3 runs. But I'm excited about this matchup for sure. It's going to be.
I think I would say both teams of late. I mean, both pitchers. They were the darling of the West. Both those guys, Rodon early on and Darvish, and they kind of came back to the middle a little bit now. I think one of them is going to get touched up. I don't know which one though. I know Darvish at home, so this way we'll still keep Cabby's mojo intact. We're not backing Darvish or going against him either way, but we're saying, hey, somebody give up some fucking runs here. Let's get it done.
By the way, Nutflush asking for their last 12 record for the Giants. I'll give you their last 10 record because that's what I've got on MLB standings here. Their last 10 record. Los San Francisco Giants last 10 are 2-8. Lost 2 straight right now. Not ideal.
So, hey, you want to hear something? Here's Darvish's earned run last 3 versus San Fran. 8, 4, and 9.
Interesting. 8, 4, and 9. Wow. Hey, over. I do. I'm liking the over more and more and more. Interesting note there. All right, let's move on. I think that's a good over game, a sneaky over game, even though it's dropping down from a 7 to a 6.5 there. Let's talk about the last 2 games here. Cubs versus the Dodgers here, and Marcus Stroman back in our lives here, returning from shoulder inflammation here. Only 1 rehab start. 2/3, 5 earned runs, 7 hits for Marcus Stroman. Pretty shocked to see that. I wish it was literally any other pitcher besides Clayton Kershaw, maybe any other team besides the Giants, I guess, to fade Stroman here. But I don't think he's going to come back and pitch well here. I'd be pretty surprised if he came back on one rehab start and diced up the really good Dodgers lineup here, maybe without some pieces, obviously, with no Chris Taylor, but I don't know. You can get well, 4.5 is pretty juiced at -125. Yeah, and 5 you can get a better juice, but it's some Dodgers form or fashion here.
Yeah,
Kershaw's the guy. The Cubs are against lefties are hitting 17th right now, 99 weighted runs created plus, so that's okay. But it's still Clayton Kershaw. He's still that guy. The Dodgers against righties last 3 weeks are 129 weighted runs created plus. That's 4th. So it's Dodgers or nothing for me.
I agree. I mean, the Dodgers have been winning games. They've been winning. They have been winning some close, some, a couple runs here and there, but they haven't been scoring a shitload of runs. They've been a couple games they scored like 7 in that stretch. They're not blowing people out 13-2, or they're not putting up the big crooked numbers like they once were early on in the season. Their run differential is still pretty strong, but it's kind of carried over. But when they hit their questionable skid, like when they got beat up by the Pirates and they traveled east and didn't do so well over there, but they kind of returned back to some solid baseball. But I think this is a great spot for them, with our guy Stroman coming off that second game here. I think it bodes well for the Dodgers to get that 4.5. That's what I was looking at. I think the Dodgers are going to put some runs up today. I think we see like a 10-2, 12-2 type of game here. So I'm going to be all over the Dodgers team total over. I don't want to get no part of that -250, 260 with Kershaw. Like you said, it's not 300, so you can't fade him. But I don't want to be laying 260. That's not the way I go. But I won't mind laying -120 on the 4.5 with the Dodgers. I think they get that early too. I think they get 3. What's their first 5 total?
First 5 total here is a 4. Juice to the over -120.
Yeah, no, I'd rather do the 5.5 full game -120. That's a lot better value in my book. So put me down for that. Put me down for the Dodgers over 4.5. Excuse me, 5. Did I say 5.5? Right?
You've been saying 4.5.
No, 4.5. I'm sorry. You screwed me up when you gave me the first 5 total with that. I said, how come it's so high for that? No, 4.5 -120.
Beautiful. Yeah, 4.5 -120 is good there. I got -125. I like that -120 there.
Yeah.
I will say this. Shout out to our guy, Mike M. He's saying here, since August 10th, 2021, Dogs facing non-divisional opponents who won their last 4 games are 9-31 straight up if the total is not between 8 and 9.5, and the line is greater than the last matchup. A lot of mumbo, a lot of qualifiers there, Mike M. But
Yeah.
the theorem of it is Dodgers -1. So and Nut Flush also liking the over as well in this game too.
Yeah.
So
The Dodgers might put it over themselves.
they might. That's the whole thing. I do not trust Marcus Stroman in this start. Maybe in his next start, but not in this one. All right, let's move on to this last game here, Ragu. And I'm very interested in this one. I said, I think it was the day before or yesterday maybe, that I think I'm going to just start fading the Blue Jays every day in this West Coast road trip. They took a heartbreaking loss yesterday. Really, a really big kick in the dick. Hunter Pence and the Apple Plus broadcast was kind of saying the whole game that their pitching staff was really pitching with a sense of urgency, and they understood, like, we need to win this game. We need to have a good performance here because we've been kind of shit in the bed, and they did. They finally did. Bullpen pitched well. They used their good bullpen arms, Simber, Phelps, Romano, and it wasn't good enough. They bring in Sergio Romo in the 10th, I think it was, 11th, and immediately gives up a home run. And the Mariners give the win there. And now we get an excellent pitching matchup here. This one and Yu Darvish, Carlos Rodon are probably the best pitching matchups of the night. Robbie Ray facing his former squad, going against the Blue Jays, and Alek Manoah. Manoah has looked human. I said that before his start against the A's. He gave up 4 runs there, 5 runs, 4 of them earned, 5 Ks, 2 walks on 2 home runs. Against the Red Sox, he gave up 2 earned runs, 3 runs, 2 of them earned. And he has not had a no-run appearance since the 18th of last month. So he's been kind of shaky recently. When will he come back to life and pitch well? I don't know. But Robbie Ray has been on a heater. The Blue Jays against lefties the last 3 weeks are 27, 69 weighted runs created plus. I think Robbie Ray comes out and pitches well here again today. I'm taking the Mariners full game money line once again here. I understand that the Blue Jays are a really good squad. Well, I should say they're a good squad. They're not really good, but I think that they're just in a West Coast vortex right now, like East Coast teams do. And once you're in it bad. Once they get back home, it'll probably start getting the ship righted. But I don't think they're going to get it right today. And I think it's going to be a very fun game for sure. And they also tend to lean towards the over 7.5 in this game as well after a low scoring game last night. But Seattle Mariners money line minus 105 for me. Let me double check actually, because that was the price earlier. And I just want to make sure that is the price currently. It's actually, wow, I'm completely wrong. The line has moved dramatically actually towards Alek Manoah and the Blue Jays. Minus 124 now for the Blue Jays at plus 104 full game for the Seattle Mariners. Wow. What a move there.
Usually when you lose a game like that, you come out next day shaking your head. You try to rally the troops, but those are like demeaning losses, when you lose games like that. Like when you start losing ways that you're not used to losing. Like Blue Jays, they're a quality squad, but like you said, they're in that funk, that vortex right now. And it's going to take a little bit to get them straightened out. They can't wait for the break to get here soon enough. But Manoah gives them a good shot. It's going to be a great pitching matchup without question. And like you said, Ray going against his former team has had some pretty good numbers versus them, especially late too. So I see a real low scoring game. I think the total is right where it needs to be. Usually when I see games that are sitting in the 7s, I usually try to jump on the first 5 under. It's a little pricey at my local guy here, so I probably won't go with that. But maybe for an official play, what have you got on the show?
Well, let me tell you, it's a tough. I don't know. It's tough. Can you repeat that one more time? Sorry, because I'm.
No, I was saying usually when I'm looking at 7.5, so I like to look at unders. And
So
I
you
think
got even money for the under right now.
What is it?
Even money now for under 7.
What do you got on it? 4.5, 4?
Oh, for the first 5,
Yeah.
first 5, I've got 4 at minus 120. Full game 1.5 at even money.
Yeah, I'm gonna give me that. Make that an official play for me. Under 4 minus 120.
Under 4 minus 124. Ragu, and I'm gonna move. I'm still gonna move on the Seattle Mariners money line at plus 104 now.
You're not scared, huh?
The line movement is worrisome, obviously, and I think it's a lot of it. It's Manoah has not been this cheap the whole year. This is the first time Manoah has been that cheap.
Yeah.
To start the line, he's amazing. He's really truly an amazing pitcher. And if it wasn't for his last 3 weeks or so, he'd probably start the All-Star game. But I just think there's going to be a lot of motivation for Robbie Ray. A lot of motivation.
I agree.
Really,
he's got 2 earned runs in like the last 3 games versus.
Exactly. He's been pitching really, really well recently. And the Blue Jays bats have just been absent.
Yeah.
Absent. And AJ reminding us of the thing. Watching the game yesterday, it was like 60-40 Blue Jays fans in Seattle. It's going to be like that again. So that's always something you're aware of. And that will affect – it won't affect the early innings. It'll affect late. Late in that game, there was just as much noise when the Seattle Mariners were pitching as the Blue Jays. So that's something that will affect you late. It's going to be a fun game here. So Seattle money line for me at plus 104. Ragu taking the under, taking the under 7.5 at even money there. So Fun card for us, Rigu. A fun card.
Yeah.
It took us a little bit to get through it, but of course, we got to get through it, break down every game. So it's always a fun, enjoyable time doing it with you, Rigu. I'll let you start off with the recap here because I did not have any plays coming into the show now, Rigu, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 written down. And I'm gonna.
That's what I think I got. I think I got 8 or 9 myself. You want me to break down what I got, then more or less?
Please.
Okay, so I'm on Baltimore, plus 100 full game. I'm on the Rangers first 5 minus a half plus 120. I'm tailing my guy Jose on the Athletics plus 250. I got the Rockies. I think team total over 4.5 at minus 105. I got the Tampa Bay Rays run line minus 1.5, run and a half plus 100. Then I'm on the over San Diego. That's the game I like. If you had to put a gun in my head, pick one game, that's the game I like the best. Over 6.5 runs. And then I got that devil made me do it play over 9 in the Yankees Boston game, minus 120. Team total over LA Dodgers 4.5 minus 120. And under first 4 runs in the Seattle-Toronto game, minus 120. Under 4 minus 120. That's a lot of effing plays.
You know, I'm trying to decide if I'm going to make them all official here. And, you know, normally I think I do, and I think that's what I'm going to end up doing here today. Baltimore money line at even money here. I'm taking the Oakland A's first 5 full game. We fade all minus 300s here at Say Hey Plays. First 5 is plus 220. Full game is plus 250. On the Mets team total over 3.5. I think that's my favorite play of the day. If I had to pick one, I guess. Shout out to Dami Gunn at plus 105 there. Seattle money line plus 104. Man, I can't. The 2 plays that I'm really struggling to make, and I'm going to make it, and is that Yankees Red Sox over 9 at minus 115 and the Seattle money line. The line going against you obviously scares you here, and all the money, and it's making it more appealing. But I'm going Yankees Red Sox over 9 minus 115, Seattle money line plus 104. I'm going to move on the Red Sox first 5 team total over 2.5 as well at plus 135. And man, I can't believe I'm doing this one. I just have not learned my lesson either. Pirates first 5 team total over 1.5 again at plus 140. Make the adjustment.
Raise them.
Make the adjustment, guys.
Make the
adjustment. Come on. Let's go, Pirates. All we need, one person to walk and then hit a home run. That's what we do here in Pirate Land. So all of those plays official there. Did not think I was going to end up doing that. But we're like Wallaby King is saying, we're running hot. So let's go for it here. Let's try to keep the momentum. It's going to be fun. I cannot wait. Chris Brady, by the way, letting us know that they're giving out shirts for the games. They have a J-Rod squad in there. And now he's saying, he's going to go. I mean, Chris, you have to go, Chris. You know that shirt is awesome. You've got to go, and you got to take a picture.
His rookie year. Come on, man. Get out there and grab that jersey.
Chris, get in there, and if you do go and you don't like the shirt, send it my way. I'll gladly wear a part. I'll be a part of J-Rod's squad. No problem at all. So I cannot wait. Thanks, everyone, for watching. As always, Ragu, it's a pleasure, as always, for you joining me. We'll see you again soon because I'd like to. I'm amassing everyone. I would like to have everyone come on for Say Hey 100. It's going to be a fun time. Say Hey 100 on next Friday. So we'll keep pumping it up. Keep being excited about it. It's going to be a good time. Ragu, where can the people find you at? I almost forgot about this.
You'll find me hanging out with you every so often, obviously, right? And then I want you guys to come over today. DJ Big Boss and I are doing a college football show. We're breaking down the SEC, the upcoming season on the SEC. That's at 4:00 at the Who Bangin' Sports YouTube channel. And Jose, if you'd be so kind to put that in the chat so people can click on and get over there easy. And then I'll be on with Jimmy Thursday at Betting with the Bag. Beautiful. This coming week, Thursday afternoon.
Beautiful.
Thursday morning afternoon.
I just sent the link twice just to make sure I sent the right link.
I appreciate that, man. DJ sends his love too, by the way.
Yeah, shout out to DJ as well. DJ, a savant with the computer. I did not know DJ was the one making all the graphics and stuff.
Oh yeah, he's sharp with the graphics, man. He's good with that.
Yeah, I had no idea. So shout out to DJ. I need to learn from DJ because there's some stuff that I'd love to learn from DJ as well.
And he's got that harem he hangs out with too. You know, all those old ladies.
We know about the harem. Ragu. We know about the harem. I'll say this, Ragu. Shout out to you because you guys are breaking it down early. I don't know how you guys are doing it with all the transfers and stuff and conferences and shit. But I'll tell you this, Ragu. You can never go wrong betting on the UTSA Roadrunners, Ragu. You can never go wrong on betting on those Roadrunners. It's going to be a fun year there. And Oklahoma State might be okay, too. Whatever.
It'll be a fun year coming up.
All right, beautiful. Thank you, Ragu, as always. Find him on Twitter at BigRagu62. Find me on Twitter at Say Hey Jose. Well, it's actually not Say Hey Jose. It's actually at Jose Bouquett. You can find me at Say Hey Plays too as well for all the stuff from the show. We'll be back here again tomorrow, bright and early, 10:30 Central, 11:30 Eastern. Andrew back on the show with me as well, giving us all his Philadelphia takes and minds. And you know how Andrew is, guys. We'll be back. Thanks, everyone, for watching. And until then, raise it.